There's been some huge announcements coming out of Washington, D.C. The President Trump, seems to have a high approval rating with the American people wanting him to keep his word and fulfill his promises. To help me go through these big stories, I have Gerald Celente. Gerald, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I appreciate so much what you do. It's an honor for me to be on with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, the honor is mine. You guys do such a great job over at the Trends Journal. Just some background. Gerald is the founder of Trends Journal, a group that's been accurately predicting trends for decades, trends in politics, trends in war, trends in money. I'm excited to have you on. You know, in a past show, you told me how you used to go on Oprah, and I figured out how to get you back on. You just need to run as a Democrat for president and then give her $2 million. What do you think about that?
Perfect. I'd be right on like that. You know, by the way, when Obama ran back in, was it 2006, he was doing terrible in the polls. And Oprah took him under her wing. She never supported a presidential candidate before that. She taught him how to act. Again, like you said, I used to be on Oprah, the Today Show, Good Morning America. I used to be on everybody. Nobody ran a show like Oprah, was the top. And so she groomed Obama to play the role. And that's what made him president, was because of Oprah.
Interesting. Well, maybe because he went on for free and Kamala went on. Wasn't Kamala just a terrible pick? I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Again, but look, they've all been terrible picks. I just talked about Obama. I call him the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner. He lied his way into office as a peace candidate. Then it's, I want that guy Gaddafi out of there. No, you don't say it like that, Celente. You have to say, folks, we have to bring democracy to Libya, the richest country in Africa, where the people have more benefits and rights. All right. Look, I want that guy Assad out of there. Look what he did to Syria. Oh, the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner. Oh, the Afghan troop surge. As soon as he gets in. Again, they're all freaks. It's a freak show. And by the way, I thought Kamala Harris would win. And I'll tell you why. We only go by data. We went back to 2022. The Republicans didn't do good in the midterm elections, even though the inflation rate was what, about 9%? Biden's ratings are in the toilet. You know what the number one issue was in the midterms? Abortion. That's why they lost. We thought that would be a big issue again. It didn't happen at all this time. It ranked like number 14% among the voters. And again, we look at the data. You look at the Michigan study of consumer confidence. It was hitting a high, going up month after month after month before the election. But then, Trump turned. Harris was so stupid. She was, again, we called it Kamala hilarious. She wouldn't do any interviews like with Rogan. She answered questions stupidly. But again, she represents basically the entire Congress. Look, it's a freak show. You got little Chucky Schumer. You got out of his mind Mitch McConnell. One jerk after another. Both sides. So anyway, Trump went in and we thought there would be a big, again, she got a lower percentage of the women vote and a lower percentage of the black vote. That's how much they couldn't stand her.
Wow. Speaking of Obama, I read today that Representative Thomas Massie is calling on President Trump to immediately pardon Edward Snowden. He says Edward Snowden is a national hero for exposing the Bush and Obama presidency evils. What are your thoughts on Massie's request?
Massie, to me, is the best guy in Congress. He's 100% accurate. And look at the pardons that, they all give to the criminals in the group. Hey, I'm the president. I'll pardon anybody I want. I mean, no, I agree with Massie 100%. What they do to Snowden. He put out the facts that they're spying on us and all the lies that they're creating, and you get condemned for that. Oh, this is America that brings democracy to countries around the world, and you don't have it here? No, Massie is the only guy, the only person in one of the only people in Congress I respect.
Yeah, he's great. I was sad to hear that his wife had passed away. He's such a bold person. I just love, and anytime a big story comes out about him, I immediately try to cover it on my show. What, just for my audience, Trends Journal, you guys have been in operation for decades, making some of the biggest predictions. What is the upcoming predictions for 2025 that are catching your attention most?
Well, the big one is the Trump card. And here, I'm going to give you an example. This came out on Thursday that Trump has said that he is going to demand that interest rates drop immediately. Again, a wild card. Let's go back to what the street was predicting for 2025. The facts are all there. They said that the Federal Reserve would only lower interest rates twice in 2025, both times 25 basis points. This is what happened. This is yesterday. Excuse me. This is on Thursday. Yep. President Donald Trump says he'll demand interest rates drop immediately. He said at the saying Thursday that he will apply pressure to bring down interest rates. I'll demand that interest rates drop immediately, and likewise, they should be dropping all over the world. Interest rates should follow us all over. Now, let's go back. The street kept saying that Trump can't force the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. We kept saying, yes, he can, and yes, he did. Again, tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here, and where we're going. So let's go back to 2018 when he was president, December. It was the worst December since the Great Depression. The Dow went into correction territory. Worst December since 1931. What did he do? He forced the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. They did it in January. Here's what we wrote in the Trends Journal on November 12th, 2024. Again, a week after he got elected. With Donald Trump being reelected, now the question is, will he push the Federal Reserve to continue to lower interest rates, which will be positive for the U.S. equity markets, which have strongly spiked since he won the race to the White House? Considering how Trump pressured Fed head Jerome Powell to lower interest rates when he was when the U.S. equity markets sank into correction territory in December 2018, we forecast the odds are that interest rates will continue to decline during the Trump presidency. We have been going on week after week saying he's going to do everything he can to keep pumping up the equity markets and the economy. We also kept saying that, again, we only put all the facts together. You got a recession in Germany. You have dragflation in the UK, declining economic growth and rising inflation. The Indian economy, worst economy since 2023, worst economic growth. China, they all need to lower interest rates. Trump said it right here. That, likewise, they should be dropping all over the world. Indeed, interest rates should follow us all over. They can't lower interest rates if our interest rates stay high, because their currencies will depreciate and inflation will skyrocket. Now, let's go back. Gold. When Trump came in, gold went down. He was going to put tariffs on. The dollar went way up. Now what happened? Oh, Trump said he's going to lower interest rates. The value of the dollar is going down and gold prices are spiking. And that's what we said in the Trends Journal. The lower he brings interest rates down, the lower the dollar will fall and the higher gold prices will rise. And here we are. You're seeing gold, spiking up to almost $2,800 an ounce. And again, one of our top trends for 2024 was a golden year for gold. Gold went up 25% into 2024. The way this is going now, you're going to see gold prices continue to rise as interest rates continue to go down. And again, anybody that thinks the president isn't in charge of the Federal Reserve, they better grow up. As the saying goes, it's one big club and you ain't in it, as George Carlin said. Who was our former Treasury Secretary? Oh, Janet Yellen. What was the last job before that? The former Fed head. It's one big club. Trump is in charge. It's going to be King Trump. He's going to do anything he wants to do.
From just studying his first term and everything that he's been saying he wants to get done, isn't Trump of the mind that in order to correct inflation, he needs to bring in investment capital to raise wages, he needs to lower the price of oil, and he needs to lower interest rates? And these seem to be areas where he's already applying pressure 1 week in. Is that correct?
Yeah. Look what's happened with oil prices. He drill, baby, drill. And he's doing away with the wind farms. He doesn't want that, which I totally support. They're crap. They're killing animals, birds, and they make a lot of. They're terrible. They're very inefficient. And he's also, again, it's all about the bottom line too. Let's take a look what he just said to Saudi Arabia. I want you to lower oil prices. Oh, Saudi Arabia gave his son-in-law, $2 billion for this firm that he started over there, private equity firm. Oh, what happened also? Saudi Arabia, he says, may invest up to $1 trillion in developing power plants, et cetera, in the United States. So they're going to bring, I'm telling you, all he's interested in is keeping the economy growing and the equity markets higher. He and the gang, they're all invested in it. Look at the billionaires that support him. I mean, it's right there. They're going to do everything they can. So exactly what you said. It's the reality. It's going to happen. I'm going to tell you something. Again, we're political atheists. We call it the way it is, not what we like, what we don't like. What we'll say, yeah, we agree with this policy, we disagree with that one because of the implications. But it's the money guys are in charge. And they're going to keep everything they can to keep this thing going up. And so he's going to do everything he can to bring inflation down.
I hate to say it, but the US dollar isn't as strong as it used to be, and our government is the reason why. Under President Biden, the dollar has lost 26% of its buying power. You feel it, I feel it. Meanwhile, inflation is still out of control. They're trying to disrupt Trump coming into office, and the cost of everything is up. But so are gold and silver. Think about this. If you had to bet on what would be worth more down the road, 10, 15, 20 years from now, would you bet on gold or would you bet on the US dollar? History tells us it's going to be gold. Let the team of experts at Colonial Metals Group help you protect your family's future. Their level of professionalism is second to none, and they will answer all of your questions. Maybe you're just getting started, or maybe you already have a 401k or an IRA, or maybe mom and dad have asked you to help them preserve their wealth so that they can pass it on to you. Colonial Metals Group can help. We have put together a special offer for my audience. You can get up to $7,500 in free silver, a free safe. Just give them a call at 800-807-2143 or click the link down below, colonialmetalsgroup.com/Gardner. They are amazing and so is gold. When I first had you on my show several years ago, gold was around $1,600 an ounce. You kept saying it was going to go higher. It might struggle to break 2,000. Then it did. Then we thought it might struggle to do 2,500. I mean, gold just continues to press higher and higher. Do you think? I remember when Trump first got in, gas was really high in his first term, and Chuck Schumer kept saying, "Why don't you get them to lower gas? You know, the price of gas." And then he applied all of this pressure. I know one of the reasons he says he wants the price of oil to come down is to try to end this horrible Russia-Ukraine war. You now have Vladimir Putin saying he's interested in ending the war. He would like to speak to Trump. And then just this morning, according to the Daily Mail, Putin basically laid out that this is Biden's fault, that he would have never attacked Ukraine if it wasn't for Biden, and that he wants to end the war. What are your thoughts? Are we going to see this war come to an end?
Trump said he was going to end it in 24 hours. And then after he got elected, he said it's going to end before he takes office. And then that guy Kellogg he brought in said it's going to take 100 days. And then Trump said it may take 6 months. And now he's going to put more sanctions on Russia. More sanctions on Russia is going to bring up oil prices. It's going to be negative. Our forecast is that Russia will not give back the 20% of the land that they've occupied since the war began. And I agree totally with Putin that Biden scrapped the deal for peace. The deal had been made in Turkey. Again, we wrote about this in the Trends Journal as it was happening. And the United States, they sent over that little clown. Again, the best cartoonist in the world could not have a better clown figure than Boris Johnson from the UK. He went over there and scuttled the deal. People forget, or they don't, it's not that they forget, they never know, that Ukraine was slaughtering people in the Donbass region that was mostly Russia in Ukraine. They killed over 15,000 of them before this began. Here's your Trends Journal, 2014. See how happy that guy looks? It's the United States overthrow of the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych, who was the president of Ukraine. There's the article. And there's the Obama, the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner. This is by Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former Assistant Treasury Secretary under Ronald Reagan. Washington is driving the world to the final war. He goes on, and it gets to this point. Washington concluded that Russia needed to be confronted with or distracted by problems that would leave the Russian government less confident or able to counter Washington's aggression elsewhere. Remember, this is Dr. Paul Craig Roberts writing this, former Assistant Treasury Secretary under Ronald Reagan. You ready? Ukraine presented the perfect opportunity for Washington to advance its hegemonic agenda. In a speech at the National Press Club last December, which is December 2013, and anybody could Google it up and you could see it for yourself, Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland boasted that Washington had invested $5 billion to non-governmental organizations, NGOs, in Ukraine for the purpose of the NGOs to, quote, teach democracy. They overthrew the government. People forget that Victoria Nuland and Dick Cheney passing out cookies in Madison Square. They forget all about the Azovs, the Nazis that were behind the overthrow. They don't have any clue of this. There's another article in here that we wrote about. Again, all things are connected, as we say. You can see this picture It was the Sochi Olympics. This is just before the overthrow. All the media in America was, don't go to the Sochi Olympics. Security expert, it's not if, but when the Sochi Olympics terror attack will happen. Yahoo News. Veteran security consultant Bill Rathburn hopes that he's wrong about the upcoming Winter Olympics in Russia. But he has more than a hunch that he's not. Quote, the security threat is higher than it's ever been in the history of the Olympic Games. In my opinion, it's not a matter of whether there will be some incident. It's a matter of how bad it's going to be. They started selling the hatred before they overthrew the government. Don't go to those Olympics. All of the fear that they sold. The Olympics, the views went way down, and then they overthrew the government. People have no idea about this stuff.
The average person is finding it difficult to pay expenses every month, and in most cases, there's nothing left over to cover the extras. Most aren't getting a big raise, expenses are up, and it's very hard to manage life without grabbing your credit card. If you're a homeowner and you're frustrated with that cycle, I need you to take 10 minutes. Do a no obligation phone call with my friends at American Financing. And if you're constantly carrying a credit card balance each and every month with an interest rate in the 20s or 30s, American Financing can show you how to put your hard-earned equity to work and get you out of debt fast. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are saving their customers on average $800 a month. And if you get started today, you may be able to skip your next mortgage payment. There are no upfront fees, so it costs you nothing to find out how much money you could save. I want you to call American Financing today at 888-686-8030. Again, that's 888-686-8030. Or go visit americanfinancing.net/Gardner. With ending that war, most of us didn't realize how much private communication was happening between JFK and the president of Russia many years ago. And as I covered the Russia-Ukraine war, one of the things that shocked me the most was that Biden was having zero communication with Putin.
Yeah.
Zero attempts to end this thing. And I know that I knew that Trump would have a hard time ending this thing quickly. But he was on the phone with Putin within a couple of days of winning. And now Putin is at least softening his posturing towards, I want to end this war. I want to see this thing end.
Oh, look at what we said about almost $300 billion as the country's rotting in front of our eyes. $300 billion for what? So I think what Trump is going to do, he's going to cut off the dough. That'll force Ukraine to back off. That's the way I see it. Because if the United States and then Trump tells NATO, stop sending money in there, they're going to call a peace deal. That's the way I see it. The only way it's going to stop if we stop sending money there and get our troops out of there, because we do have troops in there, as the facts are showing. And to me, I really believe that Trump wants peace in this war.
Okay, let me throw something out to you. Saudi Arabia is very negative towards Biden, wants oil prices to go up, doesn't really want to cooperate. When he goes there, no party, no red carpet, gives him a fist bump. Now Trump is back. They want to invest up to $1 trillion. Same thing with Ukraine. Biden gets in, suddenly Putin is like, wait a minute, I hate Biden. I hate that they overthrew this government. Now we're going to move in. Do you think specifically with Ukraine, because Biden was connected to Obama and Biden has family crimes there and biolabs, is this what made him want to push in? The fact that Biden kept trying to expand NATO to the east?
Look at Biden's track record. He's been a warmonger for every damn war. Again, a draft dodger, by the way, during the Vietnam War. What do you got, like 5 draft deferments? And like you said, again, we wrote about it as it was happening. Back in 2014, when they overthrew the government, all of a sudden, his little boy, Hunter, Christopher Hines of the Hines 57 family. Oh, that was John Kerry, another little piece of scum crap, daddy's boy. Oh, his stepson. Yeah. They married the chick that was married to the Hines guy. Christopher Hines, Hunter Biden, some other clown, get on the board of directors of Burisma Energy and make about, what, $30 million or something over a number of years? What the hell does Hunter Biden know about energy? Or Chris Hines? You're 100% what you said. Again, look at the clips of Biden back then saying that, basically that they were in charge of the overthrow and that we're going to tell you what to do. And again, not my language, the language in the European Union. Ukraine was the most corrupt country in Europe. Oh, and how about this? How about the deal made between Bush Sr. and Gorbachev when they broke up the Soviet Union? Quote, NATO would not move 1 inch further. What happened? Since then, there were 16 NATO countries. Now there are 32. So look, why is Russia angry? If we had the Russians up in Canada and the Mexicans down in Mexico with missiles and et cetera aimed at us, and they're in the Gulf of Mexico, now the Gulf of America, with their ships, would we be happy about it?
No. Do you, with the trends, do you see the global economy shifting with America having new leadership? I mean, already I feel like Trump has done more press conferences in a week than Biden did in his last year. It just feels like there's actually a president back in the White House.
I'm telling you, this is not going to be president. It's going to be King Trump. He's going to do what he wants to do. He has all the support to do it. And again, the facts are all there. We write it in the Trends Journal every week. The emerging markets have submerged. You're developed. Europe is, look at the countries that are, the UK is, again, dragflation over in Europe, not the EU, but the UK. And then you have Germany, the third largest economy in the world, is in recession. So what Trump is saying, they got to lower interest rates. But they have to lower interest rates. They only could do it if the United States lowers interest rates. So he's going to do everything he can to pump up the global economy. Again, as the saying goes, and why he won the election, quote, "It's the economy, stupid." That's what the people are concerned of the most. And by the way, that's a fact. We only looked at the data. Only 3% of the people that voted for Harris had global issues as the number one issue. Only 4% that voted for Trump, according to the exit polls. It was all about the economy.
Wow. Okay. One thing that I love about the Trends Journal is it helps people have an idea of where wars are going, where medicine is going, what things to look out for, in addition to what things to look for. You guys have been very good about helping people make money by understanding, are the equity markets going to go up? What's happening with the debt markets? What's happening with gold? What other trends should we know about? And then in the past, you've allowed people in my community to buy into the Trends Journal with a discount code. Is that code still available?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you again, it'll cost them the grand total of about $2.50 a week. Or you could subscribe to the They call themselves the paper record. I call it the toilet paper record, the New York Times, for $5 just for one day on the weekend. This is the front page. Could you see this?
Yes.
Of the business section. Look at the little bit of information they're giving you. You open it up. That's page number 2. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. This is your business section.
Wow, the photos are getting bigger.
Look at it. Look how stupid. They don't have journalists anymore. The same thing with the Wall Street Journal. Again, we need data to do trend forecasting. We're not getting it from we're getting hardly any of it anymore, and we subscribe to this stuff. Yeah. The Cartoon News Network, CNN, where they just announced how many people they're firing? The Washington Post firing another 4%? You never had this kind of pictures in newspapers before. You look at the old newspapers, they're all print. There's no more journalism. So again, you talk like, we'll talk about like the Israel war. Oh, what do? We subscribe to Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper. And we go to Jerusalem Post, we go to Times of Israel. Oh, we also go to Press TV, IRNA, ISNA, Tehran Times. Oh, we want to hear what the Iranians have to say. Oh, we go to Arab News, we go to Middle East Monitor, we go to Al Jazeera. We want to hear what the Arabs have to say. We want to hear what everybody has to say. And then we give our analysis. This is what they're saying. This is where we believe it's what it really means, and this is where we see it's going. And this is what you might want to do. We don't tell people what to do. We tell them this is how we see it. So again, there's no more media left. There's no journalism. Look at the media. You love Trump, listen to Fox. You hate Trump, listen to MSNBC. I mean, how stupid can you be?
Yeah. Do you guys believe that the stock market is going to go up or down in the coming year?
Here's the wild card that no one's talking about other than us. And that's, again, one of our top trends. There are a lot of wild cards this year. It's the office building bust. Everybody, if you want to, Google up Castle Systems with a K. Kastle. Look at the office occupancy rate in the 10 largest cities in America. I didn't look at it today, but 2 days ago, it was at 43%. That's right. 43% occupied. What's your vacancy rate? Ain't nobody there. According to Moody's, 20% of the 10 largest cities, buildings are vacant. Tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here to see where we're going. So let's go back to 2020. We're in 2025 now. The COVID war. You can't go to work. Get back in your house. People stayed in their homes day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And they're saying to themselves, I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go travel an hour and a half, costing me all this time and money. I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm the guy that has, let's say, 10 stories in an office building. They're in these cubicles. I don't see them anyway. Yeah, stay home. I don't need all this space. There are over $2 trillion worth of commercial real estate loans coming due this year and next year. The numbers between 2 to 4 trillion, depending on whose numbers you're looking at. So let's just call it 2 trillion. There's going to be defaults on these loans. When they had the COVID war and they pumped in all this dough, the banks were loaded. They bought treasuries when the yields were, interest rates were at 0. They don't have the money to cover this. That could be the wild card that crashes the economy and the equity markets. And the proof is all there, because let's only go back to 2023 when 3 banks went bust. First Republic, Signature, and Silicon con man Valley Bank. 3 banks went bust. The equity markets tanked and gold prices spiked. These loans are coming due. You're going to see defaults like we've never seen before. No one anywhere is talking about this other than the Trends Journal. That's a wild card that people should pay attention to.
Okay. Wow. I read just yesterday, Doge put out a report saying that close to 57% of federal buildings are empty. And this is one of the reasons Trump is saying, you got to come back to work at a building or you're fired. One, we don't believe you're actually earning, the money that is being given to you from taxpayers. And 2, we got all these empty buildings. We got to get people back to work. Do you think he'll be able to fire as many people as he hopes to clean up the government, or is the government just going to continue to fight back?
No, I think he'll do what he says he's going to do, and I'm totally supported. I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate. I was on the other side. That's why I know what I know. I have a picture when I picked Ronald Reagan up to the Chicago Hilton and put on a brunch with 16 of our board of directors when I was 30 years old. It's the people, the bureaucrats, are the dumbest pieces of crap in the bureau craps, I call them. These are people that can't get a job in the real world and suck into the political system, which is a crime syndicate to me. So going back, he may put those people. I was in D.C. I think in 2022, and again, I used to work for a trade association. I was a government affairs specialist. Again, I wouldn't know what I know if I wasn't on the other side. Unfortunately, I just wanted to make money. I was killing environmental legislation at the height of the environmental movement back in the 1970s. And I was staying at the Willard Hotel and putting my meetings on at the Hay Adams when I was 28 years old. I was in D.C. I was living between D.C. and Chicago in those days, up until 79. And then I started to grow up, and that's when I quit doing what I was doing. Anyway, I'm back in D.C. I spoke at the Rage Against the War Machine rally. Homeless people everywhere. Vacancies everywhere. It wasn't the D.C. that I remember. Yeah, he could bring them back there. But how about the rest of the country? Again, I go down the city a lot. Every time I'm in the cab, I'm up in Kingston, about 90 miles north of New York. I ask the cab drivers, when's it slowing down over here? 12:30 at night. We used to go out at 12:30 at night. No more old people like my age out in the streets anymore in the city after 9 to 10 o'clock at night. Your office vacancy rates, you go, again, I did a thing for TV, and they want us to do it down at the stock exchange. And my buddy and I walked from the stock exchange up to 2nd Avenue and 40th Street. For rent. I'm telling you, the damage that's been done by this COVID war is incalculable. They could bring back some of the people to work. It's not coming back. Again, the facts are there. Again, you go back to last year, a building on 50th Street, Midtown Manhattan. Sports Illustrated used to be there. They sold the building in 2006 for $12 or $320 million. It went up for auction. They sold it for $8.5 million. The baloney that they're saying that they could turn these into apartments is a lot of crap. The buildings built, again, we only go by the data, in the last 50 years are non-convertible. So here's this big building in the middle of 50th Street, in the middle, no windows on one side, no windows on the other side, no windows in the back, non-convertible, big empty spaces. You look at the office vacancy rate in San Francisco, it's probably around 30%. There's going to be defaults. No one is talking about this. No one.
And that drags down the equity market, and that makes gold spike as people flee to safety. Okay.
And what will happen? Oh, there's the other thing too. You're seeing Trump coming out positive on cryptos, right?
Yes.
Yep. Here we go. January 23rd, Trump signs executive order promoting crypto, paving way for digital asset stockpile. This is the guy that was against it when he was president, right? And now you saw the crypto club members. What are they? How many hundreds of millions did they dump into the campaign? They were one of the biggest contributors to his thing. Okay. We have the real debt is not $36 trillion. When you look at the money that they owe, it's like 220 trillion US debt. I believe they're going to come up with a crypto coin. We're getting rid of that dirty cash, and we're going to digital trash. They're going to come up with a central bank digital currency, I believe. And it's going to be a way they're going to value this new currency much higher than the dollar as a way to get rid of their debt. I think they're going to make something up with this because you can see how pro-crypto Trump has become, even with their own meme coin and all on and on and on. And it's right here. It's right here. Again, this is from CNBC. Trump signs executive order. Venture capitalist David Sachs, who Trump tapped as his crypto and artificial intelligence czar, joined Trump in the Oval Office for the signing of the order. All right? Right there. So that's why we're very bullish on, and we've been bullish, as you well know, since 2017 on Bitcoin. We called it, when it was going down, we said if it doesn't go below this level, it's not going to go further. We nailed it. We said when it breaks over this point, it's going to keep going higher. And then the wild card, the Trump card, pro-crypto, poof, it skyrockets. What was it? It's about $70,000 a coin. It shot up to 90,000 and then what, 110,000? Again, a coin backed by nothing, printed on nothing, just digitized. The world is going to go CBDC. They're going to do everything they can. They're all deep in debt. They're going to create something else to make it, try to bail out of it.
Wow. Gerald, I want to thank you for coming on. I also want to put a direct link down below to Trends Journal. Please go check it out. You guys do have a great cartoonist, but you guys are data in a way that you can absolutely understand the trends that are before us and which paths people might want to do more research on. I have found it to be a very, very valuable resource. I'm also going to put a code so that people can get a discount on signing up. Gerald, thank you so much for coming on. You're a national treasure. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do. I appreciate it. And again, it's from high-tech science to technocracy to health. We cover the world. And again, the magazine's almost 200 pages a week, and you could listen to it. But like a magazine, you read what you want. But we cover the world, so we're trying to give people the best we can to help them prepare, prevail, and prosper in these times ahead, because we're going into a trip like we've never seen before. So thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, absolutely.